Hello, guys, and welcome again. Joining us for our little chit chat here about Survivor. Um, we might be a little sad, not so happy about the ending. Not as it didn't go as we had hoped and or expected and or prophesized. Where'd
Not
we go wrong,
not
guys?
what we
Where'd we go
wanted.
wrong?
Not what we wanted. So, listen, this is what happens when we don't get to have 24-hour live feeds.
You can't tell what's
Saying
going
we
on.
we thought for sure something was just gonna go one way, and man,
Do you
nope.
remember? I don't know if they still do because I try to stay away from it. Do you remember that there was a blog somehow that every single year all of Survivor was laid out and spoiled? Like somehow every year all the information got out.
Like,
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
like a mole, there was a
I
mole
don't
in
know if that still
production.
happens, but I remember back in the day there was one because you'd be like, one of those things where you kind of want to know, but you kind of don't want to know, but then it would all be there, and you're like, dang it, I found out there was um,
Well,
no,
I
no
think
maybe
there
good
were
winner.
some
we need an
leaks. I think there were
up-to-date
some leaks this season. I think there
a
were some
few
people in the
little leaks.
Twitterverse that knew exactly what was going to happen.
Well, they did because of the way the finale worked
Yeah,
out, right?
because
In
they
the
because they
live
picked
vote.
the winner before they sent him home, so
Mhm,
there's been
mhm,
how many months now they've had to,
mhm,
like,
mhm. And
play it cool?
I understand why they did that. They did that because had they left and had to do the finale in a live show, they would have then had to get everybody together in a big group again, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to have to quarantine. They don't
Right.
want to put people. So we
Right,
already
and
have them here.
doing it via Zoom felt so
No, this is so
not
bad. So it's
exciting,
like we're
yeah,
already here. Why don't we just do it now? We're
right.
doing it
Plus
live. We're
No,
doing it
I
right
plus
think
now.
I think
plus,
it I
Jeff
think it
got to
totally
push his
worked.
pizza. He got to push
Sure.
that pizza
What was
so
up
hard.
with that? It didn't even look good.
He's really trying. You know what I think? I feel like they had to, like, half their grocery budget this season. Because
I think
they
they didn't
had
give
to,
them
like,
any
put
food.
that money onto idols, right? Like, there was
Right.
all these idols and advantages they had to pay for. So,
Right.
they halved the grocery budget, and so, like, everything they got was, like, really, like, daycare food, right? And so he's like, "I'm convincing you that this is really delicious, and you have not been out here as long as all the other players have had to be out here, so you're not willing to look at this as desperately. This is it's like this disgusting pizza. Like it looks like, the Domino's that's like sat out
Right.
at the pizza party for 8
But
hours,
they made it. Jeff had to tell you they
It
made
was
it.
Yep.
pizza. It definitely had pineapple on that pizza.
Yeah, gonna have some island pizza, some Xander
Definitely.
candy pizza. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but he really was obsessed this year with convincing us, the
He's getting
viewers.
he's just
If
getting weirder and
only
weirder. Weirder. It's
If
great. I
if
love it.
only production had tried harder to convince us that Erica was a worthy winner than they did trying to
Okay, the
convince us that this
craziest thing.
food was good.
So you could blame production and say, well, they were really not showing us what other people were seeing if this was really how the whole cast felt about her. But then you think, why would they do that? Why not use the footage? I wonder if the footage wasn't really there. It didn't make interesting show.
That's what I think.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it
Well,
wasn't
I
there.
am
I think
going
they
to
voted the way they did and there was no way to show it because it didn't exist.
if you don't mind, I'm going to read you a little bit of what Erica has to say about this.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. So that she says that she left filming this season really proud of how she did. I'm a big fan of the show. I'm aware of Edgic. I'm aware of what regular winners edit looks like. So I thought, okay, even though I know that Luvu was dominant the first half of the game, they'll have to show me some way. Watching the show and seeing that all the moments I had in the pre-merge, but there were a lot of episodes where you didn't actually see a lot of me. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I am not getting the winner's edit that people normally get. Am I destined to a lifetime of having to defend why I won Survivor?
Yes, you
I
are.
yes. I'm
Yes,
really
you are.
glad that it started to turn around towards the end of the show, even though the volume of my edit was a bit on the lower side. I think that the content they showed was quite positive. I kind of go back and forth because there are some times where it sucks. Seeing people believe that there's no point in rooting for me because according to the edit, I wasn't strong enough. But I also think I'm kind of a badass. Maybe it makes the rest of Survivor community think maybe the way that we watched the show before needs to evolve. Maybe the system that we cared about for so long can evolve. I think that in a game, I was underestimated. I proved myself. And I think for the audience, I did the same thing.
Oh, no, you may have. She proved herself. I don't think she proved herself
Right.
to the audience.
Yeah, I don't think she did for the audience, but it brings up a really interesting point, even though I tease about the 24-hour feeds. But I know that not everybody that watches this watches Big Brother, but some will understand the correlation and the comparison I'm about to make. When you see somebody who is a casual viewer of Big Brother, meaning somebody who just watches what CBS shows them each week, doesn't watch the behind the scenes or the live feeds, those same people that the majority of people who were casual viewers could not understand why anybody would root for Tiffany. They had no idea what Tiffany was actually doing. Now, I am not comparing Erica's game to the likes of Tiffany's level.
Oh God, I
What
hope
I
not.
but what I am saying is in the Survivor world, yes, there's casuals and then there's like those that are really serious about it. But even those that are really serious about it are still sitting at casual CBS level because we don't get to see the behind the scenes while it's happening.
Right.
So there is always the possibility that though I do not think that she played nearly as hard of a game as Tiffany, that she did do certain things that the other tribe members were privy to in order to really knuckle down on this game that we just didn't get in her storyline.
But what's the motivation for CBS to not show it?
Because
If
they
they
wanted
have
Xander to
footage
win.
of it,
I think it's because they wanted Xander to win. I feel like Xander's who they were rooting for.
well,
Xander
I
had
mean,
a better
everything
story.
I
There was
saw,
more action or to the story. You know what I
Xander,
mean?
it's because Xander was involved. Because Xander did not have an alliance, he was kind of in everybody's little like conversations, which was good or bad. There was just more of him to show. Also, his tribe got eaten alive before
Mhm.
merge. So he was going to be on TV a lot.
Yeah, because you know what? They had never gone to tribal, Erica's tribe. And before they'd even gone to tribal, we had the episode where he was thinking maybe we should throw this because he was already saying, he being Danny, sorry, that Erica was
The
the
big
threat.
G.
So,
Right.
so because they couldn't show anything of that tribe because they weren't going and they had these other two tribes to follow around, maybe they just couldn't find a way to get those things in. Though it would have been great at some point for them to do like a flashback or something for us
I
to
really
like,
wish they would. Because here's the thing: if
give us something like build the case like before you
yes,
read the
yes,
or Shisa says the winner and they go to like a montage of
right.
things that she
oh yeah,
did
if they would have
so we can
showed
go,
us
oh
a
okay,
whole bunch
yeah,
of
that's
stuff we
right.
never saw, I'm with you.
Or even
Yep.
just remind us so that it's
Yep.
all condensed and you could go, oh okay.
But it's
Because
not a
we want
reminding thing.
because
She
we
had
get
no resume.
excited, right? We get excited to root for people when we see them
Mhm.
make a move that gives us a little bit more steam to root for that person at the
Mhm.
end. And if those moments were in fact there, and I am absolutely willing to believe that the majority of what the jury is defending is what it was really there because I wasn't there playing the game, but I would have loved to seen some of this. I would have loved to be able to root for her. How many times do we complain about how we want a woman to win something and we just
Sure.
want to root for them? And
Yeah.
here it is. And like, where did it go? We had no idea she even had a chance.
What if production wasn't filming her as much because they didn't think she had a chance either? I mean, they kept missing
Maybe.
it.
Maybe.
Wait, they were talking. Wait.
Oh, let me ask the question this way: based on what we saw, and based on the normal criteria, which would be outwit, outplay, outlast,
Right.
which would be the challenges you won, the game moves you made. How can her resume can't even compare to Xander's? It's not even close. It's not even in the same universe.
From
you have-
everything that we saw, I'm inclined to believe that that is the case. But
Right.
again, there's like that big,
Okay,
that
no.
big thing of
follow my logic. I understand that there may be something we didn't see.
Oh, there definitely was.
Because clearly what we saw, based on what we saw, Xander won the game. There's just no doubt in my mind. Has there ever been somebody who's won the final challenge who didn't get one vote?
Two big problems
Has that
with
ever
the way
happened
that
before?
the edit happened.
But Xander made some moves that, looking back at it and going through everything, that really crashed his game.
I mean, he made a couple mistakes. He made one at the end. He brought Erica.
But he did great things too. And I think they did two problems in the editing this year. One was they didn't show us Erica, so that why we were going, huh? What?
Right.
We didn't see that. And on the other side, you have people there at the end saying they don't like Xander.
Yeah, they never showed us their
he's
opinion.
He's not a good guy, or he's fake, or he's whatever. And I'm like, are you kidding me? We were
I never saw that either.
Every week we were like, oh my God, this kid has such heart. Like, look at him. He's bonding with these people.
He and Ricard were going to hug it out at the end of the episode. Was I wrong? Weren't you feeling the same thing, Jamie?
So that's why.
Oh my God, that's why I was like, I'm not crying.
I mean, they were like had this moment, right?
So on one hand, you
turned on him.
Right. It wasn't just that we didn't see the one. It was that they made we didn't see. I don't understand. CBS, come on, throw us the bone.
You had something else that Ricard and
yes. So
why don't we read one of those now?
This is from Ricard's exit interview with Entertainment. So he says that this is in reference to Xander's game. I feel like his game was over a while before that. And he's talking about the vote for 2 from Miyase in the merge. I felt like his game was over a while before that. It's definitely even bigger of a reason not to award him with a friendship vote when I'm like, I cannot justify this. How do you bring the next biggest target and not take her out with fire? And even the conversation that we were having, especially when you watch the edit of him knowing that she can't make fire. And his justification for bringing her was, oh, but if she wanted fire, that's a notch in her belt. We all knew she couldn't make fire. She never made fire at camp. We knew how many hours it took her to make fire in Exile, but there was never a misconception that Erica knew how to make fire. So I don't really know where he even got that.
Okay.
So I think
eight votes based on that.
But I think that a big part of that was because just to add to what was previously on here, is he was saying, if the thing where we were going, oh my God, this is making my stomach hurt. If he had challenged, this is the general idea of jury. If he had challenged Erica to make fire and won fire, he would have won the game. But
why would he do that when he's assured to go? Why would he?
Why would he personally have?
Because he never realized, for whatever reason, he never realized how he was actually viewed as that's why he had the idol. He thought he had the idol. Right. Exactly. He and us were like, oh my God, he's doing so good. He still has this idol. He's not had to play the idol. Like, oh my God, this is awesome gameplay. But they're all saying like, no, we didn't need to play his idol because he was our GOAT.
I feel like he was their GOAT. They're saying, oh, geez, not Heather. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here's what I think.
Not Heather. No, even Ricard is saying that he thinks the best game out there beside himself was Erica and Heather. I'm telling you guys.
Ricard, come on.
There's something wrong with that.
Something's going on.
Maybe Ricard's best.
There was so much peyote on that island. Okay, so here's
got into Mike and Jeff's gummies. It was chaos. They were poisoned by the pizza.
Mushrooms.
Maybe there were gummies on the pizza. That would have been fun to watch.
Maybe. Here's what I tell my kids. When they talk about, these people at school, but they're popular. And I say, why are they popular? They're only popular because you're making them popular.
Right.
Stop making them popular. Right. The same thing here. Erica did not have a great game. The only reason they saw Erica as a threat is because they all decided she was going to be one.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
I feel like it was a self-prophecy, right?
Right. No, I can buy that to an extent, but then on an 8-1 vote, he doesn't get a vote. It doesn't pass the smell test.
And him thinking that Heather had a good game, Heather.
I know.
Though
So
she didn't
here's
win a
my
single
thought.
thing. She
I
got
think
nothing.
we've
They would not have respected her if she was at then. She would not have won
I
against
think
Sandra.
that
Give me a
I
break.
think we've heard a few people kind of lean toward this, and I'm inclined to lean to this too. I think that Erica had, I don't know, a couple people on jury that were going to give their vote because they loved Erica. Period.
Well,
Doesn't
Liana
matter
was
the
going to give
game,
it to her because she
right?
hated
They
Xander. Okay.
Which
they
also, get over it.
But I do agree with
She's
some
angry.
people
So angry.
perhaps that I do think that maybe it's that hindsight is 2020. And so these interviews that we get, the votes already happened, right?
Right.
They're already
Sure.
watching the
Right.
live
So they're
show.
justifying what they've done.
And I
Correct.
think
I
there
would
might
like
be a little narrative to try to comfort the masses who have like loved
But that's
Xander
not
this
but
whole
that's
game.
not comforting us. What would comfort us is if they're like, "Oh, you guys, we did not see the stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes so much more sense." That
I mean,
would make us
I
feel
feel
better.
like
Because then
Ricard's
we could go, "Oh, they
defense
could
made it
only vote on
worse.
what they knew."
Right, right. And that's why I'm saying that's why I pulled up Ricard's as an example
But that's
because
pretty weak sauce. I
that's
mean,
somebody
okay,
who we
so I'm
really
not going
like.
to vote for
So
him because he took Erica.
Okay. Here's
Erica
what I
needed to be taken.
here's
I
what
mean,
I
isn't that
believe
weaker
happened.
still?
Here's what I
he
believe
says
happened.
he says that if you watch the jury and you hear what people say about Xander, a lot of people did not respect the game that he was playing. A lot of people thought that when he stepped out of the challenges, that it was completely for show and it wasn't because he cared. So as the game goes on, you're like, this guy is not an issue. Why are we worried about the idol? A lot of people want to go and sit at the end with Xander so they can explain how they played a better game than he did. So it just became a non issue, which is why I went to him and said, we need to vote out Heather. He never thought about we never thought about voting out Xander at this last tribal council because he's a good guy to take to the end and he could help us beat Ricard. That was Danny, I'm sorry. And he could help us build Ricard. So they allowed Xander to stay as long as they did because they needed him as a number to get out Ricard, according to Danny. And they didn't believe that Xander, when he cried or when he did something nice and stepped down and offered the food, that he was
Genuine?
genuine.
Did
They
you
thought he
okay?
was faking it.
Did you guys at any point think he was being disingenuous when he
No.
acted? I didn't either. Because
No.
you had that, and then they coupled it with his one-on-ones or his whatever they call them, talking heads or whatever, and it seemed like maybe
Yeah,
he
I mean,
wasn't.
maybe
Maybe he
it
didn't.
would have been different if I was out there and I didn't get to see that confessional and have the sweeping music behind it that proved to us that he was being genuine. Maybe my read would be different. But he didn't. He seemed like a sweet kid. Like
Yeah,
that's all I know.
like a really nice kid.
Yes.
Here's what I think happened, though, guys.
I can't hear you, David. Your sound is gone.
Oh, he's muted himself.
I
There you go.
muted.
There you go.
It was like a dream for my fellow podcasters. They're like, we can't hear him. Yeah.
Oh, and it wouldn't let me unmute you because you had unmuted because you had decided to mute yourself. So
here
we can't spy on you.
So here I think is the ultimate reason that I can say Xander was legitimately a good guy. He's taken the loss just fine. He's out there. He's at the parties. He's hugging people. He isn't bitter. He isn't, he isn't reading his acceptance speech from 2016.
He's all like, yeah. He's like, yuck it up. I am 20 years old. I've got like 3 more rounds of this game.
My point is,
I need to retire.
Does he seem bitter?
No.
Right. So my point is, if he was inauthentic, he'd be angry right now that it didn't work, as inauthentic people always are.
Right.
You're probably right.
I found it really interesting that statement was made by Danny too, because I mean, look at if you were to go back to the first or second episode that we recorded, I'm like, I don't trust Ricard. He seems shady. Like, how can anyone trust him? I like him. He looks interesting. He might be fun to watch, but how can anyone trust anything he's saying? Because he's doing that side eye all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that they said that they couldn't feel that Xander was authentic. But like Ricard, sure.
No, here's what happened.
How did Danny justify his vote for Deshaun?
Well, that was. I think Danny's vote for Deshaun was just a sympathy vote. I think they knew they were voting for Erica before they sat down. Period.
Or maybe they made some pact that like if I'm in jury, I vote you, and if you're in jury, you vote me out. No matter what, you
Right.
know. Which
Yeah.
whatever, that's for them. He knew it wasn't going to make a difference.
At
Whatever.
the end of the day,
Okay.
this is what I say. At the end of the day, I say congratulations to Erica because that is not an easy thing to win. Whatever we think, she deserves the win because
Sure.
they voted for her.
Well, I don't.
However, in my heart, Xander's the one who
Okay.
won the Survivor. That's how I'm going to remember it.
I don't think she won on her own. And because here's what I think happened. I think the best player of the season was Ricard. And I think that when Ricard was voted out, he was still playing the game. He still wanted to have his power and he still wanted to manipulate and control.
Oh, man,
And
he had control of that jury too, didn't he?
He 100% controlled that jury because prior to him,
loyalty to Erica come from? They never even
exactly, it wasn't there. So
it made no sense.
So here's what happened when they were
He
doing
was bitter at Xander.
Exactly the juries prior to Ricard getting voted out. The jury was loving Ricard, right? They loved Ricard. They thought he was playing a great game, right? You'd see him over there like that. They weren't like for Erica. No. Okay, so he gets out. He goes over there. Him and Shan start talking. The two of them together, guarantee you. Shan was mad at those guys for voting her out. She'd already said she was going to vote for Ricard, right? Because the other three people she tries to voted her out. Then Ricard gets Shan out because at some point this is a game, and even though we have our special connection,
it was an open agreement. Okay. They never had a final.
Didn't they say their relationship was like brother sister?
No, they said they were the island married couple.
There you go. Okay, so relationship. Okay, then she goes out, and everything's like, oh, you know what? We had talked about it. We knew we were gonna have to take a shot at each other. She goes home, blah, blah, blah. Now he's got Xander. They're so close. He's going to be an uncle to his kids, right?
If he meant it.
But
he really meant it when he said
he didn't really mean it. But here's the deal. What Xander did, taking a shot at Ricard, was literally what Ricard did to Shan, but Ricard couldn't take it. And he went to the jury, and he was not going to let Xander win. Yep. He was pissed off.
Which
and
is
it's
so
like, dude,
because Xander could have played that idea to the audience via a confessional and never have said anything. Mm-hmm. I just wish that he could go back. I'm sure he wishes he could go back and not say anything to Ricard about it at all.
Right. Well, and you knew when they were given their questions, everyone gets up, they ask their question. Oh, Danny did a really good question. Same question to you. Same question to you. Okay, fine. Everyone's doing the question. Ricard didn't do a question.
Danny's question was like the best question in Survivor
history. It was a very
history.
good, well thought out question.
Yeah.
Yes. But another thing that keeps circulating around with Ricard is that had Xander not said that to Ricard, not ever played the idea to him that maybe I could use this idol on you. If that hadn't happened, and even if it did happen, but he did use that idol on Ricard. If he saved Ricard and then challenged Ricard to fire or made Ricard go for fire, you'd have a completely different ending to this game because then there was a chance Ricard wasn't going to get that fire challenge, that he wasn't going to win it.
Right.
And then Xander would have won the game on that merit. But there was a couple different places, but guess what? The kid doesn't think that way because he's 20.
I think he's genuinely an earnest person.
Yes.
And he seems to be the sort that I'm going to treat you the way I want to be treated. And I'm going to just assume you're going to treat me the same way.
But if they think that he wasn't earnest and he was out loud talking about the idol and really contemplating it, and they already have this belief that he isn't being earnest when he offers up these things to help somebody.
But who told them that?
Right. So obviously he's going to go in there bitter as can be.
I think Ricard went back there and was like, guys, I was playing with Xander. Let me just tell you. And probably spun all they have to do over there is talk, right? And I bet you he was just giving them so much info about Xander this and, oh yeah, he's playing us and he's this. And I'm sorry, that's because that's the only thing that makes sense.
Because that, Erica did present herself well.
Sure, she's well spoken.
Gave them the easy excuse.
she presented herself in her
Right.
questions. She was
Right.
answering questions very intelligently.
Yeah,
Right.
she
I
did it,
don't think
yeah.
that
But-
I don't think that they were mind changers. I'm not saying somebody was debating and then went with her because of what she said.
But it's
I'm
like,
saying it cemented their already preconceived idea of how they wanted to go.
and it's
It made
easy
it
to
very
go.
easy for them.
It's easy to go with the group, so no
Yes.
one's mad.
Well, I mean, can we talk about, was there pressure to have a female winner?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what the
I don't know.
conversations were between them.
You look at Twitter and it's like first female winner in 11 seasons or whatever it
Oh.
is. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know that I don't think there was any more pressure on it this year than there was last year. Or
Yeah, I didn't.
I don't think that really, I mean, what, now listen, are there some people sitting there in jury that are like, you know what? I'm kind of like debating between the two, but I kind of want a girl more than a guy. Boom. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's not possible.
Ideally, I would like this, but yeah, it doesn't mean.
Oh,
but
we got a message here. Pop that up.
There we go.
Listen, even people who don't watch Survivor will pop in.
Yeah, hang out with us.
Hi,
You won't know what we're
Brian.
saying, but
He
we will
heard-
sound so
He heard
smart.
us talking about juries.
Speaking
and
of
he couldn't help himself.
really authentic people, Brian.
Yes. Brian would win, hands down,
Yeah.
No,
because
no,
he
he
would
wouldn't.
offer everyone the grilled cheese.
The
I
famously
can't imagine
favorite
Brian
DP.
swimming in the ocean.
It's a fun thought for me. I like it. So, okay. Overall,
So,
do you
wait,
guys
one more thing about Ricard.
shoot? Go for it.
He did not ask a question.
No,
It
he
was like-
told everybody what to think.
Okay, he had his moment. Ricard is he's got to be narcissistic. Come on. So they all asked their question, and the person asked the questions like this as the person's talking back to them, answering the question, right? Ricard basically, I mean, he might as well just spun around to the jury and was like, "Let me tell you about Erica," right?
Yes,
And
because
he
he
didn't
was
ask
all
the
like,
question. He
Erica,
literally
you're the best
told them
player. You are
all
the
of
best
these
player.
things. It was like he stood up and did his dissertation on why Erica should win. And then, now she wins. Come on.
So wait a minute. So
Well,
are we saying that the real winner this season is
Ricard.
Mr. Five? It's Ricard, right?
It's
He
Ricard.
convinced everybody to do what he wanted the whole game, all the way until he was out of the game, and he still was in the
And
game.
he shouldn't have cared.
I also think there were a couple jurors that were really bitter. I mean, Liana was clearly bitter.
What is
She
she
was a
so
bit
angry
crazy.
Well,
about?
she was. I mean,
crazy.
Xander made her look like a
So
fool
what?
on national TV.
So he was just
She
so-
fell for
get
the fake
over it.
idol that everyone
you
saw
know what,
coming
though?
in the world but her.
Okay, better
I
that than no
followed it.
game at all for them to remember you for no reason. Do you know what I mean?
But
However-
she was never going to vote
however,
for him based on
In the
that.
No.
secret scenes that were released, in the secret scenes that have been released,
Yeah.
she did get along with Xander okay-ish. I think I think that really bothered her when that happened. But I also think she was really angry at Deshaun. And I think she's been angry at Deshaun this whole time. And she was angry at Danny too, because if you watch Danny's Ponderosa video, he sits down to two women that were salty about all of it.
Well, because what happened? You sent one and then you send the other, and all they got to do is sit over there. And then eventually you send Ricard, and now Ricard's stirring them up too. Those
Yeah,
three,
and
you
his
know, those
side eye,
three were
he's stirring
still
him up
tea.
with his side eye. He's
They
getting
were,
him
they were over there. They were sipping that tea. They were like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You bet.
Okay, so couple of questions for everyone to
Go ahead.
answer.
Yeah.
Best character this year.
Ricard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would say Ricard.
I
Yep.
mean, he's like one of those evil geniuses. You're rooting for him, right?
Literally my favorite.
It's great.
Literally, my favorite part of every single episode is whenever it was time to vote, Ricard was the first to vote. He'd always make this big eye roll smile and then stand up to vote. And it's just like, it was my favorite part of every episode.
I just want to go out and have a drink with the guy and say something he disagrees with, so I get the side eye.
Yeah.
That's I would die
So good.
happy right there.
His stare is so intense. And
He's amazing.
Yeah.
They got to find some place for him. They got to.
And he had a unique ability that I compare to Boston Rob in a lot of ways. Is no matter what happened, he stayed calm.
Yep.
He stayed
Yes.
under control.
He
He
will.
never panicked. If he got
Perfect
behind in a
control.
challenge, I mean, like the challenge where he was
Who's
all the way
excited?
to the top and he realized, and he just took it down, fixed
Mhm.
it, and went right back up.
Yeah.
And
That
I think-
focus and
He was
calm.
talking about that last
100%.
puzzle. And this is actually another really great point too. I don't mean to like jump back into this, but I think it's a really important point to make. Erica won 2 advantages in the game, but she was basically the only person in the game that was able to make the advantages actually benefit her. Like really benefit her.
Well, the one, it's not fair because the one was going to benefit.
Sat with that idol
Right.
for like 8 tribals.
Right. That first one saved her from even leaving the game. She wouldn't even have been in the game.
You mean the breaking the
That
That
hourglass?
wasn't even
time-
an
Okay, but hold on a
advantage, and she
second.
did nothing to earn it.
No,
All
She
did
didn't do
was
anything
beat
to earn
her.
it. I think anybody who would have been on that island would have crushed
Would have
that
used
thing.
it, yes.
Anyone
I'm
would have used it.
not.
So,
No,
I'm not
Heather
saying
would
that there
have.
was. I'm not saying there was any skill involved or anything.
Heather would have talked yourself
I'm just
out of it.
finding it humorous that the one winner is the only. Like, there's 50,000 different advantages
Yeah.
on this island, and the ones that worked got her to the.
I don't know. I feel like Xander used his well. I
He
feel
did
like
use his one.
I feel like
But then the last one. This
used
is
he was able to disarm the
fake
whole.
idol.
Do you have an idol? Well, you know what I mean. He was able
Now-
to fake that out. He really did a good
but
job.
then
And
the
he,
last one.
he gave his idol to someone else when he had to.
But
Yeah.
the last one that Erica got, which just like, I'm sorry, how do you all of a sudden go, oh, there it is, whatever. But she
The-
gets that last one. It gives her the advantage in the last challenge, right?
And it
But
said it was a
Ricard made
little
a really-
advantage. It was gargantuan.
Right. But
Mm-hmm.
Ricard made a really good point, and he said that had he found that advantage, he would have won the game because he was that close behind her. Now, he had dropped that piece of the puzzle, and he said it made it look like it was a really long time before I saw it and picked it up. He's like, that was editing. I saw it immediately and picked it up. There was no like big long moment before I had picked that piece up.
What if
So
Xander
he's
would have
very
found
sure
it? I
that-
think Xander probably would have won the game. I mean, that was a
Yeah.
big advantage.
So I
It
think
was.
that next season and this is across the board. I've heard almost every single person that sat in the final, like in final 5, say you can't introduce a major advantage at the end.
Yeah.
It was
You can't do
ridiculous. It was
just- that's-
absolutely putting your thumb on the scale.
Let that game play out authentically.
True.
And on top of that, did you see where she found it?
Just
Were
sitting
those
there.
trees dancing? I mean,
They
there was,
weren't
I mean, there was
dancing.
nothing
There was no
about it. It was a
dancing
tree.
tree. I know.
But-
I looked at Chris and I go, so what that should really say is go over to where the trees are.
Yeah.
There's,
Like
there's
a
no
weird grouping of trees. So she was the last one to get her puzzle solved so she could get the clue. Or whatever, however they had to solve that thing. But yet she got to see where everyone ran off to. Don't you just go to an area where no one's there? So the chance that you can find something they don't find, you'll find it first.
Well, she's going to the place the producers were pointing to.
Exactly.
I know,
Go
right?
over
Like, with a big
there.
And
spotlight
people
on it.
ran this way, but there's a cameraman down there. I wonder why.
There's
Maybe
like
there's
a cameraman down there with a boom mic, like
Yeah.
right over it.
something down there. Ugh.
Follow the boom mic, and it's got like a little tree on it that goes like that.
Listen, at no point did I ever the entire season dislike Erica. I always felt like she got a bad rap that they kept like they wanted to target her. I was like, God, she hasn't done anything. And she'd be a great person to pull in for votes. We said that week after week. They got to pull her in. They got to pull her in and use
Yep.
her. I just
Cool
did
kids
not
gotta bring her to
expect
the cool
this.
She struck me. If she was on Big Brother, we'd call her a floater, and we'd
Yep.
say, "Sure, we want her sitting at the end because no one's voting for this person who's done
Well,
nothing."
again, she wasn't at the bottom.
But she
did have
broke
some
an hourglass
intelligence.
and won a challenge with a
Sure.
massive advantage.
But
She did
that's-
nothing.
But you saw her actually talking strategy with people.
Right.
Well, she did math. She did do math one time.
but like you know who you
There
didn't
was
see
some math.
talking,
Some math
You-
involved.
but you didn't see Heather. She didn't win anything. She didn't get an advantage, and you never saw her talk strategy at all to anyone unless that person was telling her how to vote.
Well, but nobody on this podcast has given Heather any props.
But that's why. But why is she a
I
better
don't-
game player than Xander?
I
Throw
don't
some
know.
heart, throw
I
some
don't know.
because
heart.
they
I-
have
I
to
think-
justify what they did, which they wanted to do
because she's
You don't
not.
know Heather
for
until
other
you just say that.
Right.
Oh, Erica.
I don't
was
know
better
why
than
Heather
Xander.
had to be involved with this at all. I like on Twitter, Stephen Fishbach said it's interesting to wonder how many different times Erica traveled back through time to
Yes.
correct small mistakes and wind up here.
That was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah, it was her like
The
her,
time
her
travel.
her Groundhog Day. She had to continue to keep doing it until
That
she got it
time
right.
travel will get you to the end every
So-
time.
So next question for everybody.
Mm.
Person who should it's a two-part question. Person
Okay.
who should be back, person who will be back.
All right. Person that will be back is going to be Shan, right? I feel like she'll be back. Ricard, maybe.
Oh, I think Ricardo will come back. If he was willing to possibly miss the birth of a
Yeah.
child, I don't think.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do?
Shan-
Oh,
but
it's
I-
their first
but
day of
I-
school. Like
But Shan would be back. I just feel like Shan would be a callback. Like
Yeah, but
somebody
I
they would
wouldn't-
want to call back.
I wouldn't be clamoring for it. I mean, it'd be fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not. There's other people I'd rather see.
Oh,
I
for
think-
sure.
I think you both nailed it. I think Shan will be back. I think Ricard should be back.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
Ricard could be one of those, elite players.
Yeah, absolutely. I
With
think
the
he's-
right cast. I don't think he has
Yeah.
the right cast to really do what
But I also think what Jeff said is really, really true is that quite often the best players in this game will never win the
We'll
game.
never win. Mhm.
Because they can't. Because they can't win it. Because they're the best players and everybody has to get them out of the
Well,
way.
but we've seen look. Boston
pretend
Rob, when
they
he
didn't
won,
play well.
everyone knew he was the best player when he was on it and he ran the table.
That's true. You got to have the right if you come back, and this is for any
had the right
return
cast.
player
He had
game,
people-
you have
right.
to have the right
He
cast
had
there
people
to
who
do
were
it.
willing to keep him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Also
What about
known
Brad?
as
Do you think they'll
Dunce.
do you want Brad to come back?
I do want Brad to come back. Can Brad come back?
Let Brad have another chance.
You missed-
He'll lose again, but you know
You didn't
what?
get to see
I
him in
just
the
wanna get a
meeting
Wait,
12-pack
show.
of beer
I don't
and hang
even
out with Brad.
remember. I don't even remember his name. Was he the second person voted off?
He
The
was.
brain surgeon? No,
Voce.
the first person.
Voce?
Yeah, the brain surgeon
Yeah.
guy, like who's doing all the
Or
math,
Vos,
telling
they
us.
call them. Vos or Voss. Vos.
Yeah, and he was telling us what the odds actually were on
Yeah.
the roll the dice thing.
Yeah. You want
I
him to
would
be
lo-
there?
I want to see what he has. I want to see how he can play.
Now the mothership came up with an interesting concept.
Mm.
Yes.
And they said, what if you had a season where it was all the first people voted out?
That needs to happen.
That
They've
would
had
be
enough.
cool, right?
So, well,
Because
it
it'd be like, hey, you all suck.
Yep.
You all lost.
It would be great, but the funny thing about that would be that it would be like a brand new cast because we wouldn't remember any
Well,
of
No,
and
them.
on
no,
top of
no,
that,
right.
finally,
They probably wouldn't remember each other. Like,
As
They
a 53-year-old man, I have to say the following. I love the diversity that we're seeing on the shows. I really do. I think it's wonderful.
Mhm.
But there is sure an ageism bias. And the way they spoke to
We're
Heather,
yeah,
who is
like she was like
52,
like she was 100.
I mean, so you know what? The first person voted out, we get somebody over 50 to win because they're all over 50, right? The old guy
Right.
always gets voted
Right,
out
right, right.
first.
no, you're not wrong. And I think as the seasons go on, it seems like there's less and less people older. Either I don't know, maybe not as many try out.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? So there's probably not as big of a pool.
It could be the first Watch Alliance.
They'd be up in the morning super early, tending the fire.
Brian,
Get in
I
the
gotta tell you,
wood.
First Watch has this lovely vodka and kale drink. No,
I
it
I was going to
sounds
say
gross
they're making vodka
and it
kale.
looks worse, but let
Yeah.
me tell you, it is yummy.
So good. Is it
I have
blended?
two.
Delicious.
Is it a blended drink?
No, but it looks like seaweed.
Is it like you can pull the kale out? It's like
Oh yeah.
oh
Oh, there's chunks of kale in it, and I'm
That's
the
weird.
least kale person ever. I ordered it as a joke, and they bring it out, and it's green, and I drank. And it was lovely.
And you were like, this is wonderful.
I absolutely adore
Life-changing.
green vegetables. Like I'm one of those weirdos, but that doesn't sound good mixed with vodka. But I would try it.
You never know.
Yeah, I
Waffle
try it. I'll
House,
try
Brian,
anything.
Waffle House is Amazing Race, not Survivor.
Waffle House is amazing. I
Waffle
like
House is Dancing with the
another-
Stars.
there you go. It's very sticky.
No,
It's very sticky there.
Oh, Waffle House might be that Masked Singer.
It just gets worse.
Because there's a real life with Flavor Flav, something like that, you know.
Yes.
Flavor of Love. That was a reality show contest.
Oh man, that was a lifetime
That's
ago,
Waffle
right?
House. Whew, anyway,
So any thoughts on the next season? I mean, they showed us precious little.
Well, it looks like we're gonna get a guy in a suit jacket. You always have to have one guy that comes in a suit
Well,
like,
jacket. It's always
I
one.
don't know. They have to know that it's going to be soon, right? They have to fly him out. At some point, you're clued in on the fact that you're on Survivor, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
like, how are you not like the second there's a chance and you're like, why are you not like 100% prepped at all time? You have like cargo shorts or something,
I don't know.
utility with zip off legs or something.
Yeah. I feel like
survivalist gear, Under
I
Armour.
feel like you have to
Yeah.
like get that under wraps before you even apply. Like, I just feel like that's the thing. Like, what would I wear there? I need to
Like,
have that ready.
you've seen seasons where people didn't even have swimsuits. They're wearing their bra and underwear. And I'm like, why were you not wearing a swimsuit under your clothes? At any moment, they can
That
drop you on
seems
an island.
really silly. And then you've
my
got
internet
Xander.
service is going bad. I'll be right.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the
That's
winds are
problem.
very, very strong in South
Those
Florida
dancing
tonight.
trees. So, okay. So, speaking of outfits, you've got like Xander's sweater. That was a good standout
That
thing this year.
sweater was so epic.
How does a sweater last on an island and still look like cozy?
I don't know.
Is it
It's
because
like,
it was on Xander? It might be because it was on.
It might be because it was on Xander. And it just looks like the kind of sweater you wear like while you're sitting around the bonfire on the beach.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
It was
And
nice.
he's got
It
his
fit great.
perfect hair.
And then you've got the salmon T-shirt that everybody wore.
The
as
way
well.
he could take his buff and like put it on, but like leave the perfect amount of hair hanging down in his curls.
I know.
I don't know. What's up?
No, like he's gonna walk into a speakeasy and say, buy me a drink, mister.
I'm just
So
yes.
good.
He had like a flapper look to him, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good. David, I'm so glad you're back. We were just talking about
service has restored itself.
Yay!
we were just getting in depth about how much good hair was on the island.
Oh my God! If I could have Ricard's hair, I'd be so happy.
Did you see it at the end? It was
God,
all like
is that bad?
it was
for me?
all
I'm
coiffed
like
and it was
envious
all
of it.
like.
I mean, you look at this mess, and I'm just like, if I could
I
just have that for a day.
I legit think that anyone on here, or basically anyone who's ever podcasted Survivor, if they had Ricard's hair, they'd be like, hey.
I'm just saying, if I had his hair for the day, I would spend the entire day in front of the mirror just flexing.
I wonder if once they got back to Ponderosa and they got they get to shower, they get to do all of the things, and I wonder if all the girls are like, "Hey, it's the finale. We get to ask questions. Let's all get like Big Brother. Let's all get super gussied up, right?"
Those rooms that they get at Ponderosa are nice.
And so maybe they're like, "Hey, Ricard, let's do this," and they're doing
the hairspray is flowing. Yep.
Yeah.
And then he was probably like, "Everybody, don't touch my hair."
And he has naturally curly
exactly
hair.
what to do.
And you naturally curly hair, so they could do he had people there also with naturally curly hair. They can like give each other swingers too.
But
you need a lot of moisture in that naturally curly hair.
Okay, seriously, I'm thinking back to our post merge. Almost everybody has naturally wavy to curly hair. Maybe that's why there was so much good hair on the island.
That's the key. You got to be able to rock those waves, those salty, sandy.
We don't know about Danny. Danny had his hair all rolled up, so we don't know if his hair is.
And Evie, hers was the only straight hair, I think. Because maybe she has a natural wave too. If it's
but we didn't even say the thing this year that why you and I both should have picked her. She had purple hair. Why were we not picking her as our winner from the get-go?
I don't know. I felt like the bow tie in her press picture might be
Evie totally distracted me with her bow tie.
Yeah, bow ties don't usually fare well at the end of a game for some reason. I love a bow tie, but they don't fare well in the end of the game. I super
love how she smiled to the jury and was like giving them she has a great smile. And she's like she's really on their side.
She's kind of a fantastic person.
But she did not vote for Xander.
Yeah.
But it looked like she would.
Evie, it was very obvious to me when she first opened her mouth who she was voting for. I
think she's like buddies with Erica, though.
Didn't I?
Yes.
I did. I said from the minute she talked, I knew who she was voting for. And you're all like, I don't see it. I'm like, yeah.
You knew. You got that.
I was surprised with Danny. That was the one that surprised me. And
that didn't really surprise me because I feel like
saw a relationship between the two of them.
That
and he was like vehement in his defense of her. And I'm going, where did this come from?
Because he was going to control it. He was going to show
'Cause he was
Xander,
mad that
you
Xander-
should have kept me.
He was angry.
You weren't going to win if you kept me, and you're not going to win if you got rid of me either, bro.
He was angry.
Uncle Xander.
Hey, so how about that like half hour, like long moment of waiting for Xander to pull his big toe back half an inch on that challenge?
Oh my God.
That was sort of nerve
That's what
wracking.
was giving me a stomach ache.
Yeah, that was
I was like,
crazy.
oh, just win, just win, just win, just win, just win. God.
That's
that
a
was
tough
horrible.
one. I love those challenges though, because we see them in Big Brother all the time too. Those challenges where it's like never count yourself out, just keep going. Just
Well,
keep
his
going because
thing
you're gonna
was
wait for someone else's stuff to drop.
he got so ahead and everyone else's was dropping that they had to keep rushing to try and catch up with them, but then they kept dropping and they should have just played it cool.
Just
They
be
didn't.
cool.
See,
And
if Ricard
Be
was
cool,
there,
boy.
Ricard would have stayed totally calm. He'd have been like, not a big
Yep.
deal with the
Okay, I
room.
really
Yep.
kind of feel sorry or I'm kind of scared for Ricard's husband because he is not winning a fight ever. Like that. Even if
I can't
Ricard screws
imagine.
up.
Oh, no. You know Ricard is high maintenance.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Gotta
And
be.
I'm
even
just saying.
even when
He's just gotta
Ricard
be.
screws up, I guarantee you, at the end of it, his husband's apologizing to him. Even when he screws
He
up.
just has to make eye contact with him for 30 seconds and he'd be like, "You're right, I'm wrong." Like,
Imagine
"You're
the
right,
guilt-
I'm wrong.
He'd be like, I'm right, but it's not worth it. You're right.
It's not worth it. You
And
win.
imagine
You
the
win."
guilt trips that he'll give the kids.
Oh man, those if you follow him on Twitter, it's been a pretty eventful time he's had with that youngest
Yeah.
one. It's pretty funny. He's in the middle of potty training right now. So,
Oh, already?
yeah, well, because he's
with
got
the first
two.
one.
There's
with the
two
fir-
kids.
oh,
so,
The other
You
one was
said
born
it's a
like
little
last
young.
week, Christy.
Yep.
Well, that's
Yep.
why I was saying, and I'm like, well, no, not last week. It was
Well,
Just
a
month
couple
ago.
months
ago.
But they
Summer,
still don't
whatever.
potty train that young.
right. That's why I was like, dang.
Unless you're one of those weird crunchy people that are like, I'm gonna put my baby on a potty.
Free range
Well,
babies.
I like those people better than the people breastfeeding at 9. That's a little weird to me.
When the child
That's why-
can actually say the words to you,
Yeah.
it's time. I mean, they can actually verbalize and tell
When
you.
his friends come over and go, then it's time. It's time to stop.
You
Hang
want
on,
some of
dude, I
this,
gotta have
bro?
my lunch.
Those days are gone.
Mom, I'm hungry. Get your butt out here.
We're derailing. Okay. So next
Um,
season, we're gonna get some of the dumb twists, right? Looks like we're gonna get that say something stupid thing is gonna happen.
Okay, really? Because that was the dumbest thing ever.
I know. Not a
I
fan
mean,
of it.
we'll see. You know what? This will be the fair shot. Like, because these people won't have known about it, so it'll be new to them as well, these
True.
players. And we'll see. Will they do it a little differently?
I don't know. They're gonna talk about potato skins a lot, I'm afraid. Because that's what it was. It was
Oh,
all like,
that's right. I was like,
I've not
what?
had a potato skin for a, that's like what the phrase is, something about potato skins.
I do like some potato skins.
But see, I think that could be a red herring. They
Honestly.
just want us to think that.
She was like literally just talking about potato skins. She's like, it's not even a clue. She's just like
Yeah.
potato skins a lot. She has a weird
See,
thing.
if the thing you have to say is about potato skins, then maybe you start setting yourself up for it. Like you
That's
start
what
having
I would do.
you start
right?
having
Like,
conversations with people, and you're like, "What do you
you
like?
like
What's your
potatoes?
snack? Or no, you just start saying like,
I
"What's
like
your snacks?
potatoes.
What do you like to eat? What do you get? What are your
Yeah.
favorite appetizers? What do you? Oh, I really like. I just like to have a whole thing of appetizers. What do you like?" And then you just slip the potato skins in there, and then you're known for liking the potato skins. You don't even hardly have to say the thing.
Yeah, like you could do like a fake vote tally, right? Every couple days at camp and say, like, lay out 3 different types of appetizers and say, if
Be
you
like,
could
"You
have
all are
one
crazy.
of
You're not
these,
voting for potato skins."
right? If you could have one of these, where's your vote?
Who's
And then
these?
every time you go to challenge with Jeff, you could say, talk about potato skins, and now they have this many votes this week.
Yeah.
And who's the idiot that keeps voting for cheese sticks?
I don't know. It's weird. It's
So
just
for four-
cringy. And it's,
Maybe
I
they'll
don't
do
know.
it better. Maybe they'll do it better though. I'm just saying.
The cat's pajamas, Brian says. The cat's
For-
pajamas.
For
Now,
season
if they brought out a
42.
cat and you had to put the cat in pajamas
That'd be a pretty
in
good
order to
challenge.
get the
Oh, and it wasn't declawed. That'd be awesome.
Well, you shouldn't declaw them, so none of
I
them should.
understand. I don't like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
so
Yeah,
I
that's a
don't know about
challenge
it.
for
therefore-
real.
Like It's a cat in a carrier. You have to get the cat out of the carrier, put the
There's teeth,
t-shirt
there's
on it.
claws.
Then once you get it in the outfit, you got to get it back in the carrier, because that's the hard part.
Yeah.
They'll shoot right out, but you can't
Attention
never
all
get it back
PETA
in.
people that may be listening.
All four
Christy's
limbs.
kidding. We're not going to harm the kitties.
No, you can't harm them. But if you've ever
When
tried to
we
get
are
a cat
done
inside of a
using-
carrier,
When we're done using the cat, we'll go throw it on that other island, and then when you have to go there to meet the other person,
there'll be a cat there to greet
there'll be
you.
a cat there.
That
Oh,
You
will
can
like
tell your
scratch
cat
your
the
face and try to eat
secrets.
your nose while you're sleeping.
If
Cats
you
are
survive
horrible.
it,
no, they're not. They don't.
If you die in your apartment,
some are
your
evil.
Okay.
dog would lay down next to you and die with you. Your cat would eat you.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah.
But
And
see,
like
we've
I,
already
and
had
like
this
I said,
discussion. Christy
I
says because
love-
cats are smart enough to survive.
I love my cat. He's a member of the family. If something happened and I died, and the only way he could survive was by eating my ears and nose, he's got my permission, because I don't
But he
want
would
him to have
just
to
do it
die
because he's
too.
mean. Down deep.
No, he would do it because he's hungry. Cats go crazy if their bowl's empty. It's like an emergency. So they get starving
Yeah.
just like that. They don't know.
Cats get upset if they can see the bottom of
The bottom of the bowl.
even
Yeah,
if there's
exactly.
food in it.
Yeah, you have to kind of like shake it so it makes it all fall down again. They're
They're
like,
finicky.
oh,
I had a
They're
cat for
finicky.
like 2 months when I was like 26. And then I
They're
went home to
tough.
visit my mother and brought the cat, and I left the cat. And the cat lived to like 16. And my
Till
mom
they
was
were
not happy.
700 years old.
because cats never know. They're just always ready for end times. Maybe this is the time they'll never have food again. They don't know.
Could be.
They're just
They're
trying to
very
make sure.
predatory.
Do we
what a cat
want?
do.
They'll have that. Anything else was going to be coming over from this season to next season?
I'm
do you think?
sure that not that I know of yet, but I'm sure that pretty much all of them that we've seen is going.
I
to
think there'll be a number of players from all over the country, maybe other countries, from all different backgrounds.
Yep. That's
That's
crazy.
my
We had
prediction.
2 Canadians this year, right? Like that's different. That we had
Yeah,
more
During the
Canadians.
time when the Canadians wouldn't even let us in their country.
Yeah, they're like, we'll bring him here. It's fine.
Gosh.
What if we all go meet in Fiji? That's cool, right? And then Canada was like, yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
Erica was so not the stereotypical Canadian. She wasn't even nice. Really.
She must
Erica?
have
Every
been part of
Canadian
that.
met is totally nice, but not Erica.
You
Not
don't think
Erica.
Erica's
She's
nice?
the
I
new
thought
Scot.
she was
She's
nice.
the new Scot
Okay,
of
but I don't
Canada.
think she was like Canadian nice, right?
Wow.
Like, hey, how are you? Can I make you breakfast?
Okay,
Would you like a
I
beer?
will say
You know?
this. I did really like the part she shared, because she didn't really share anything about her life until like the very end.
Not
And when
much,
she
not
says that she walks into meetings in business and she's running the meeting and everyone treats her like she's some sort of like
She is
intern or
quite
something.
small.
Yeah, they
Because
don't.
You have green hair or whatever she's got.
Or
of
it's
course.
purple.
Okay.
Ahem.
Come on, baby. I'll be afraid of you, I promise.
I demand attention. But she's very tiny, though, right?
Yeah, she's
like
tiny.
she's
But she's
very
obviously
feminine
not
and she's very
stupid.
small, so that probably
No,
is
she's-
easy for
she's
people
not
to
stupid.
overlook.
I didn't say
I just
anything that
wish
would
if we're gonna listen,
confirm
CBS,
that.
every season
I
we're gonna
heard you,
have
you
a
were like,
winner.
she is stupid.
CBS,
No.
every year we're gonna have a winner on Survivor. Please
Yes.
give us enough to like the one
Let
person who's gonna
us
win.
know
Please.
who we should root for. Come on.
Or not even root, at least like give us something so we can be like, oh yeah.
Listen,
Well,
because here's
good on them.
the real skinny on all of it. I'm just gonna say this. Regardless of which way the jury, decided that they were gonna go, if they felt like if their reasons were their reasons to vote for her, I don't care what she did or whatever. If she's the winner,
She better be giving Ricard some money.
she needs to have an edit that shows a little bit more of her. Period.
Unless
That's
there
it.
wasn't anything to show. That could be the problem.
Well, I think that
Is
there
maybe the jury
probably
inexplicably
It was
voted for
existing
somebody
before
they shouldn't
Marty
have.
did.
I think the hard part lays in the fact that her original tribe never had to go to tribal, and the only Erica feed we got before merge was we're going to try to get her out by throwing this game.
and they were showing us Danny and Deshaun from her tribe because they got more from her tribe.
Yeah,
And
for
were they
sure.
just showing us Danny and Deshaun so we would know who they were once the merge came and we saw those 4 get together to make their alliance? Is that the
Right.
only reason we saw them? Maybe.
Because it is really curious.
Like,
in the
otherwise, this
fact
is going to
that-
make sense. We're going to have to know.
Now,
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't. We know one of them that absolutely 100% does not buy into the edit theory that you have a winner's edit. However, I don't think that there's necessarily just a winner's edit, but I do think that there is more spotlight on the people we're going to see at the end.
Yes, and then,
So
so that's
maybe final 5 edits.
there's an edit. They're trying to make a compelling story for the people who make it to the end.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's blatant. Like
Sometimes
Heather
it's
has
blatant.
never given up. She
Right.
keeps trying.
Man,
She's
Jeff was her
striving.
number one
Here
fan,
she is
right?
in slow motion running behind everyone.
I almost think like the first time that Michelle won, the first time, right? I feel no, she only won the first time. She only won one time. But when she won, the edit was so like, what? Why are we seeing this girl? She's not doing
Right.
anything. I don't feel like Erica was like that.
No.
Quite.
Mm-mm.
I feel
No,
like
not quite-
Erica
not
had a
quite
little bit
as
more
that,
spark
no.
going on, a little bit. But
don't
so it's
know.
I
just-
still feel like Michelle's the worst editing they've ever done to like lead us astray.
Well, see, I refuse to just blame the edit. I mean, and maybe it is, and maybe it just is the edit. I mean,
I don't think it's just the edit. I think that
at
there's
this
something
point, though,
there
you
with
would think
Dre that they have.
CBS has heard the criticism. They could
Right.
release the unreleased footage
I
on
100%
Twitter tomorrow.
I really believe that it was all created by Ricard to spin this narrative.
That's
Yep.
what I think. I think
I
think
CBS
that is
thought
very,
Xander
very
was winning.
strong. Yep.
He
I
spun the
really,
narrative
really think
and
that
he
is the
convinced them.
strongest. The strongest pull on all of this is definitely the last 5 minutes of Ricard's game when he was not even in the game, really. Like,
Yes.
he demanded it. But you know what? It's kind of funny because I feel like this whole season we got this big setup about how this game is going to be harder than ever and tougher than ever, and if there's going to be a monster. Who's the monster, guys? Where was the monster? You tell me, what was the monster? Like, really, what was the monster in this game? Because they really pushed that monster thing. So what is it? What,
Wait,
what-
how did they drop the monster thing though? How
I
did
think the
they
monster was the pizza.
It could be.
but what when
compelling.
how did they insinuate monster though? I don't remember how the wording was.
Well, it was basically like, I'm Jeff, da 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 blah blah. This year on Survivor, it's gonna be a monster, something like
Well,
that.
here's what I don't get. It can't be a monster if you give the person who wins the challenge at 5, like, here, we're gonna push you all the way to the top, and then act like you climb there.
I think that the monster was Jeff's ego.
Oh, I like it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a commitment now for season 42. Every episode, I'm going to have a rant on the stupidest thing Probst said the previous week.
You
All
got
I'll keep
to.
it
You got
30
to.
to 40
because-
seconds, but we're going to have like a whole
Boom.
theme music and stuff for my rant.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yep.
I'm all for
My rant about.
Can you do
Jeff's
like a really like
stupidest thing. Yeah.
You're ready to
Very
talk?
serious.
You're ready
and
to
then when
be-
I,
and it'll
when
be
I
like
want
this.
to punctuate my point, I'm going to yank my glasses off.
and you're
And
gonna
I may
say
even have eyebrows.
this week?
Yes,
Yeah,
there will
yeah,
be
yeah.
I point
eyebrows.
out to
There will be
everyone that I
eyebrows.
started the season without eyebrows, and they're
They've
back.
come in very
back.
nicely. They look great.
Yeah.
On
If
fleek,
only I
as
could
all of the
transport
young
some
ones
of that
say.
up here, I'd be great.
Just
Don't
comb
worry.
them.
Don't worry.
Just comb them back.
They comb over all the way from the eyebrows straight back.
Oh, that may be the best thing you've ever said, Jay.
I love it. I think it'll look
Just
great.
use some gel. Just use some gel.
All right, I got to mute because I'm.
There you go. That's how you do it.
Okay.
All right.
Yep, that's the way
So,
to do it.
I guess we could talk about our fantasy league.
Oh, the final points. How did it
Final
all?
points, and I'm going to say that it was really hard. So with the way it worked was we had to pick basically three vote off weeks. So 3 weeks in
Yeah,
one.
that was
so we had
weird,
to pick-
right?
Oh,
That was
that's
tough.
usually how it ends up. coming down to it, but it makes it
That
hard
last
because
couple was
if you-
tough because you have to match it to your first grouping.
or you don't. You had take the
That's
thing
true.
and go,
You
I'm
can
gonna
shake it up
I'm gonna do this on this, and then if these are my two ideas of what's gonna happen, I can do this on
like a
this, and then
backup.
like a backup, but then you risk losing only getting half points, or
It's
maybe
true.
still none. I don't know.
I'm not
Anyway.
gonna lie. For like a second, I was like, should I? And then I was like, no, I'm gonna stay with my gut. I'm sticking with my gut.
Do you know, I actually went on in the afternoon and was going to change it to Erica because it occurred to me that the people who were posting that she was going to win against any
We're the people that have
any
finished
they
the game.
would know, right?
Well,
And now they go,
I didn't change it because I already had, 6 weeks of Deshaun. I was like, I can't throw him out now. I'm going for the money.
Right. So literally, none of us picked the winner.
Nope, none of us. What do you know?
I picked Brad. Who was your original?
Yeah, but I
pick?
mean, you get to repick. At least
Oh,
you guys both
three
had yours
points.
got to the final three. But my winner, he kind of was like the Svengali the whole game.
Who was your original winner though?
Evie.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, Evie.
There's
And then
Evie and
mine
there's
was
Ricard.
Sydney. Was my original.
Who?
Sydney and
Sydney,
Brad.
the mermaid.
I don't feel
She has
bad
better
about.
things to do.
I honestly
I
don't
don't
feel
even
bad
remember
about
who that
picking
is.
Evie because at least Evie was on the jury. Your guys didn't even make jury.
Dude, Sydney's on a yacht somewhere, like hanging out with Russell Hands, like
The most
people
petty-
she doesn't hate.
But you know what? You know what? They threw Brad out because they knew he'd win. So they got him out early.
Brad. They were like, get him out. They
No,
threw
she
Brad out
didn't.
because Brad was
Well-
like, well, we need to get you out or you out.
Brad
He kinda
pulled
lost his
full
mind
on Frenchie.
all of a
Brad
sudden.
was fine the first episode, and then he became Frenchie.
Something
It was just
happened on like
Oh.
day 7 or 8, and he all of a
It's just
sudden
that farmer thing, That's all it is. Farmer energies.
he
Bringing
got
farmer
freaked
energy.
out. Something.
Wouldn't that
somebody
be an
activated
amazing
it.
race team?
That
Brad
would be
and
a
Frenchie.
fun, amazing race
Oh my
team,
God.
actually. That
And
would
they're
be
both,
chaos.
is Frenchie also a farmer? They're both farmers.
Yeah, I'm
aren't they?
pretty sure she's a
Yeah.
farmer. Yeah.
That would be great.
Overalls all the time, man.
So anyway, it was a little harder to make our picks, and only one person got any points on the finale picking, and that was Mandy.
It was
Dude.
Mandy.
Yeah, so she ends up just with that. She ends up taking the season.
Wow.
Yeah, she dethroned.
She did pretty okay the whole time anyway, though.
I could have
really.
picked everything
did.
perfect. It would have come in second to last.
That's where you came in.
No, I didn't. It came in last.
Because even Jamie, she was able to, even without getting her MVP sticking every week and having to make 3 different logins, she still had more points than you.
Yeah, and totally was last.
That was
Yeah.
a tough one.
Yeah, you're pretty last.
In
I mean-
fairness, had I not forgotten to put my picks in, I would have done a lot better the one time because I lost my MVP who actually did really well for a long
Right.
time.
Yeah.
But David, if you're the last in line, what happens if the line flips around?
It's true.
That's true.
You're the first. You're
If
the
the queen
first.
had balls, she'd be king.
Yeah, well, you know what happened to the last person last in line? They got a time turner and changed time and totally dramatically
my
changed
gosh.
the entire game of Survivor and won.
Yeah, she had to keep going until
So
she got
wait,
it right.
The guy on Squid Game who was last in line, he made it.
You could be the Erica of this group, David. I'll be your
I don't know if
I'll
I
be your
look good
Ricard
with
for you.
the purple hair. I could go with it.
Yeah, I'll be your Ricard. It's fine. It's fine. It's good. Hey, Chrissy, just chill. Just sit there and chill. You really don't need to do anything.
I'm not even going to compete in this challenge.
got
I'm just going to go eat pizza.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
good.
I'm
All right.
just going to tell everybody how to vote, and we're going to call it a day. David wins Survivor.
Excellent.
Good job, David.
Thank
See?
you.
That's how quickly you could wrap out a season, guys.
I
Okay,
didn't even have to go.
but seriously, is Erica better be giving Ricard a gift of some kind? Like,
Something nice, right?
Seriously.
Like something real nice.
because
And
she
it better
did
not
say-
be COVID. Hello?
better not be. And she did mention that the money goes a lot far. That's a lot more money in Canada.
After the taxes, though.
The Canadian government's got their hand out, man. That
That
free
tax
healthcare,
is
it is not cheap.
Yeah, but
That's-
she has a lot of stuff she
Yeah.
doesn't have to pay for. So I think
that
it,
is true. That's true.
I think
There's
it kind of
that's
helps.
True.
Yeah.
Listen, it costs a pretty penny to keep the color up. I'm just saying.
It does.
Not
it
like
does.
Yeah,
That's
I
why I
found
don't-
the gray
that's why I
is
don't
very
do
easy
it.
to keep up.
Too much work. The
It looks
gray
good,
ZZ,
though.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I
doing a
just get
good
up in the
job with
morning.
it.
They
you're
get
doing a good
it's
job.
a really natural look you've got there.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's
I like
good,
what you've
it's good.
done. Very
It is.
beachy.
Very
It's-
beachy. But out of the four of us, the three of us in the sometimes maybe every other month, JP, I just have to say, I did get the most points. Just want to say that. I'll say
Yay!
that
Good job.
of
Good
the four of
job.
us. That doesn't mean that I know
How'd your
anything.
sister? How'd your sister fare in the end? She was kicking our butts for a while.
She was, and then guess what? Me and JP both beat her. But she did forget 2 different weeks. I don't know what happened, but she put in. Oh no, she didn't. Sorry. She missed 5 weeks or
Way
5
to
days.
do it.
That will
Well,
She
do.
missed
to
5
be
weeks
fair-
and still beat me.
Okay, but to be fair, her
There was
children
a lot
had
happening on her
COVID.
end, right?
They all,
Did Gabe have COVID?
yeah, he ended up getting it after,
Oh.
just when they were all about ready to test and go back to school because they were quarantining and keeping them in
Yep.
different. Like the 2 that were positive were over here and he was over there. And then just when they're like, okay, Saturday we're going to test, everything should be good. Back to school on Monday. That Saturday they tested. Now Gabe was positive. He never had a single symptom.
Gabe.
He never had a single symptom, but he was positive. So I was like, now you
But
got to
he's good now.
So he got to stay home when his brothers had COVID because they didn't want, I get to go to school in the same
Right.
classroom with 2. Then he got COVID. He had to stay home longer.
Party on. Party on, girl.
Gabe, wherever you are, I hope you played video games for 2
He
weeks.
probably
Yep.
did. He was
Yep.
probably super bored though that his brothers. The only reason he got COVID was because they'd kept him secluded from each other the whole time.
Sequestered. I heard it. I heard it.
And then at one point, so 2 of the brothers are upstairs. They got Jack and Jill bathrooms, so they're in their rooms and with the connecting bathroom. So they had like a little suite for the sickies. And like Gabe couldn't go play with them, but he wasn't going to school and he's at home. And then it's like, and then one day Kelly comes out from work because she works from home. She comes out and she catches Gabe. He's in the room with them playing. And she's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? We just kept you guys apart and you were about to go back to school on Monday. Are you
this
kidding
close?
me?
This close.
Yeah, he snuck it. He couldn't not be with his brothers. They've been together since
Wow.
in utero.
Where's
3 of them.
buddies?
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was kind of funny. He just
Well,
couldn't.
he will hopefully next Survivor season he'll be able to do
Yeah, I'm
his
gonna get him
contribution,
pumped up.
make his
He
picks.
he does have a YouTube channel.
Oh, I'm so happy.
He has a YouTube channel and it is Griff Trips 3, I think, or something like that. Anyway, I'll get it and I'll have it for next season. Yeah. So okay, so that's another season of Survivor wrapped up. What do we got coming up? Looking forward to in the Looking Glass.
Well, we got
Yep.
Amazing Races coming up very soon in
Mm.
January,
Okay.
and we've got I think Jack is doing through Crazy Hank. Our Crazy Hank is going to be doing. Jack and Cindy are going to be doing Amazing Race.
Okay.
And then we've got Celebrity Big Brother in
Mhm.
February, and I do
Mhm.
believe we will return for that. We haven't
I think
confirmed
so.
for sure,
Excellent.
but we're
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Is it going to run the same time as the next season of Survivor? Are they running
It's-
together?
It's only like a month long.
Oh, that's
It's
right.
Yeah, it's
really,
really
really
quick.
short. Yeah. So
All right. Well, I think yeah.
it's a quick one.
There's
Rumor
celebrity
has
contestants
it there's
too.
there's still rumor out there that we are going to get Boston Rob.
Is still in Celebrity Big Brother?
Yep, it's still up. The
Okay,
rumor's
let's
still
do
holding.
Let's do this.
Oh my
Let's
gosh.
have a special edition of our podcast when they do the cast announcement. And
Yes.
can
Maybe
talk
we
about the
should.
cast.
I
Maybe
would
we
love
should.
that.
We'll
can
pop
read all
on
the
and
cast things.
talk
Yeah.
about what we think of them. Oh my gosh, I would love it if Boston Rob was on Big Brother.
I know it actually makes me because like
He'd be dangerous on that.
there's
show.
going to be a couple other people that are on the rumor list that I'm like, ooh.
I kind of think
yeah.
Sandra would be great on Big Brother too, because I would like to see her start getting salty with people for not picking up their crap.
Are not cleaning up their mess.
Yeah, because she would be like, "I ain't your mama. Get over here and get this cleaned up."
You
Mess
bet.
with
She
me.
would too.
I got
She
kids.
would.
But I wouldn't want to see him on the same season.
She'd go dump out everyone's cereal. Just dump it in the trash. Put the empty boxes back up.
She put the dirty dishes in their bed. Be like, clean them up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what
we're
I
gonna
said.
have-
It. She'd
We're
be
gonna
like that.
we're gonna have the Celebrity Big Brother with
Yeah.
hopefully Boston Rob. Oh my God, that will be so exciting if that actually holds
Yeah,
true.
I like
But
that.
if not, there's still plenty to talk about and like laugh about. I mean, it's celebrity is 24,
Absolutely.
you know.
But Jamie, it's
See,
celebrity.
it's like C-list
Celebrity.
celebrities and somebody you saw in the news once.
Right.
really
Oh my gosh, maybe they'll get Tiger King on there.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What?
Maybe they,
Like, roar, roar.
Jeff Lowe's on there. Trying to mac on all the chicks. Woo. Anyway. Okay, sorry. Anyway, that is all for us then. Anything else you guys got?
Well, I would just like to say that everyone needs to be getting those vaccinations, wearing those masks, taking care of each other. Our reality show fans out there was a big get together this weekend for a charity, and we've got some positive cases popping up in Big Brother and Survivorland. So it doesn't matter how much you've been on TV. If you're not vaccinated or you don't have a mask, go do that. Go do that now.
Yeah.
What's taking you so long? Take care of yourself.
Because you know what? It's not that the vaccine and boosters keep you from getting sick. You can still get sick. It's just that it drastically reduces
Let's keep
almost
you
to zero
out of the hospital.
the chance of a serious complication with getting sick.
Yeah. We don't want you to have the bad owie nights, as my
And we don't want you to spend Christmas in the hospital or your family without you. And
Nope.
so yeah, good out there. Right, David?
Oh, I'm boosted. and my wife went and got her booster today, which was shocking because she
Yay!
kind of said no at first, and then I sent her all the data,
And then she was
which
like,
I thought she was going to
"Really?"
laugh at me and not read. And then
Yeah.
the next morning she said, "I'm going to get it."
That's
And
awesome.
it's free, guys. It's free.
Hey, there's not much in
Free.
healthcare world in the country that we can say it's free. Go take care of it. Let's
Correct.
take advantage where we can.
Correct. And I don't want to have
Brian.
big hospital bills. Okay.
Brian, thank you for coming. We appreciate you. We're
Yeah,
going to get you to
Brian,
watch
thanks.
Survivor one of these years, I swear.
Or whatever you want to watch that you want to talk to us about. It's cool.
Yeah, just bring in any random show. It's fine.
Whatever.
We'll
I
switch
mean,
subjects. We
one
do it
of
all
us
the time.
probably watches it because yeah.
Okay, so can I have the final word on Big Brother 41?
Do it.
Go ahead.
For Survivor,
Worst.
you bet.
For Survivor 41, worst outcome ever.
Ever.
Horrible.
I would have said it's ever if I
don't think
hated
ever.
Erica, but I didn't
Yeah,
hate
I didn't-
Erica.
I don't hate
So
Erica, but it made no sense.
I've had people that I hate win and I didn't like their game, so I can't put them at the bottom. But
They just don't want to admit they were bitter, David. That's why.
That's what they were. They were all bitter that he
They don't-
outplayed them.
And they were.
All it comes down to is we need to come up with a new term for bitter jury because that word is outplayed, and then we'll be right again.
Listen, here's the deal. Do not look Ricard directly into the eyes.
Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
He just gets you. He locks you
You
in.
I just want to
You're
have
You
a
will
with the
do
man
whatever he
and say
says.
something angry, so he looks at me
Yeah.
side eye, and then I can die happy.
But like when he looks at you, go like immediately like divert your eyes. Do not.
And how
look
long do
right.
you think that would take if I was like hanging out with Ricard before I said something?
You
that
like
got
have
the
to
side
immediately
eye?
like fall over
Could
and
it be
present
like
your stomach.
30 seconds? Could I go
I don't
30
know.
seconds without getting the side eye?
I wonder how many shots it would take before you get side eye.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure we could figure it out really fast.
And you know what? He could set us up with all the little mini bottles.
There it is. The
He
mini
could.
bottles.
He's got an inside scoop. He just put a couple in his pocket.
We're
Anyway.
good to go.
All right, guys. I guess that's it. We will, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe below. Hit that bell because then you'll get notifications and you'll be knowing when we're coming back talking about Big Brother and all
And
the
all of
goodness.
the other shows that are
of-
coming your way that don't have
Yeah.
our beautiful faces on it.
Right.
They're still here on this feed. There's a lot of great things.
Yeah, we're super cool people. You want to hang out with us for sure. But
Jack's all right.
But happy holidays to everybody. Be safe. Be good. Hope Santa brings you exactly what you want. Whatever
Amen
that
to
is.
that.
Whatever that is. All right. See you guys.